All right. So as we said, the agenda is going to start with the conference and logistics and how we're choosing folks and the peak grant that we were honored to receive. We'll talk about the officer roles and potentially getting more involved in the AFC if you desire. And thirdly, we're going to go into the program 2 weeks from now. We have a pretty amazing speaker that's connected. So be well, Olivia. Thank you. Appreciate you being out here. And then enjoy your M&Ms. She won the drawing at our activity fair. We had the big 64-ounce jug of M&Ms, and she got the guess within one of the number of M&Ms. So, but to be expected, you're accounting and finance. You should be able to do this kind of thing.
Yes, I definitely really wanted those M&Ms.
Yeah, and you can all, and as we said, you don't have to share. So,
I appreciate that.
Of course. All right, so let's go ahead and start talking, and I'm going to share my screen in terms of what the leadership conference is all about. So I'm going to start by doing what's called an advanced share portion of screen. And the leadership conference that's happening is being held in Pittsburgh. And a little background. The IMA, the Institute of Management Accountants, sponsors the CMA, Certified Management Accountant exam. Most of you are probably familiar with or have heard of the CPA, Certified Public Accountant, which I'm one of them. It means we pass 4 tests. We get 150 credit hours at an undergraduate level, or we have a graduate degree, a master's in accounting or business, and that waives the 150 requirement. But there are certain courses you need to take. And you have a certain level of experience, 1, 2, or 3 years, depending on the state, because you are licensed by state. So that's the CPA 4 tests. The CMA is the way public accounting is for public accounting firms. A certified management accountant, like managerial accounting that you might take in school, is internal accounting. So the chief financial officer, the VP of finance, internal decision making. It's not financial statements like financial accounting. It's not auditing, reviewing. It's really internal decision making. CMA is 2 exams. And that's something you can get by the time you graduate college. So it's about estimated 80 to 120 hours per exam of study time. And it is a little more general or broad-based than the CPA. CPA covers audit, covers tax. In 2024, in January, there's new design. You can go a data analytics track, you can go a tax track, or you can go an audit attestation track for the 4th exam. The other 3 exams are the same. So there's some major changes coming. The CMA is 2, more broad-based for accounting, finance, management, ethics, some econ, and a variety of other business stuff. But a heavy dose of managerial accounting and cost accounting too, because that's the internal decision-making process. As far as I know, we participated in Charlotte. We had 11 students go to the first IMA leadership conference that FMU participated in. That was the first semester that I came on board in September. 3 weeks later, I became advisor of the club that was getting started, and then had the opportunity when we said, Charlotte, it's a drive. It's close for almost all of us. And Octavius, I know you live by Charlotte, so it's even closer. But we had 11 students. One of the students said that was the best activity they participated in. She was a senior graduating, and when she went to the exit interview with Dean Hari, best program she'd participated in outside the classroom since she had been a student at FMU. Real strong program. They do have employers, they have leaders, it's a leadership conference. It's international, but mostly US that come to the conference and share insights. And when we found out it was going to be in Charlotte, Pam Turner and myself did a joint grant request and said, you know what, it's around the corner, we can drive, and we did. And so we had 11 students participating. This year, we sought the grant, we submitted, and the $5,000 is the maximum award of a P grant. And we got $49.98, which I think was the budget I put in, which will allow 6 students to participate. And I'll show you the criteria in a few minutes what it's about. But the leadership conference, you saw the latest email. It had the reasons to attend. When it says jumpstart your journey from classroom to the boardroom, kind of an interesting perspective, because that's what we're doing. We're trying to jumpstart, give you a resume stuffer. For those that know me, you know I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm not only a LinkedIn advocate, I'm a LinkedIn fanatic. I also wrote a book on LinkedIn, so I'm a big fan. But this conference, learn about the latest trends in the profession. Speakers are solid. Speakers are very informative, and meet with recruiters from well-known companies looking to fill internships and full-time positions. One of the things I learned in Charlotte, and by the way, 2019 was the last time it was live. We have participated in the virtual conferences that were subsequent. We had the award for Anaheim last year, but then they changed it back to a virtual. So we were going to be going to Disney, which is where the last year's leadership conference was supposed to be, but they made it virtual. But this year it is live, and they're going strong. It is in Pittsburgh, and we are most likely flying. Although I figured I did the budget, I said if we drive, we can get maybe one more person to we can actually go to 7 people as a possibility. But I think we're going to be flying probably out of Myrtle Beach because it's a direct flight to Pittsburgh. And logistics not to worry about. All expenses paid. But we asked, if you commit, be committed, and make sure there's a registration process, and there's some scholarship award potentials as well. So the gist of the conference is a chance to meet and greet, get some experience and exposure, get some travel. We were talking, in the class, in my one of my classes today, we figured out how many students had never flown, and there were a number that kind of raised their hand, and that's okay. That's we're in this together, and it's safe environment, hotel, food, transportation. We don't cover your clothes, but last year we did donate a bunch to the Success Closet on campus, so they have actually clothing if those kind of things are needed as well. So we have resources, and we're here to help you in any which way we can to progress and succeed. I'm going to go through the agenda, and you'll get a chance to see what's going on. You have access to the link that'll take you to this page as well. It was sent in that first email. It was on Monday night, when I found out we were going to get the grant. Officially, the word came out today, but I got a pre-billing. So here's the way it starts: is there's industry tours, and you get to pick one. And I started to say, when I went to the leadership conference in Charlotte, I went to Duke Energy. Very cool business intro. But I also found for internships, they post them the end of August. They close the applications by the end of September, and October, November, December is when they make decisions. So large companies, if you're looking for internships with a large company and you say, yeah, let me wait till February, March, ain't happening. It happens. A lot of companies, you can get internships that are smaller and that are getting closer in the spring, but the major companies put it out there and they want to get their calendar planned. So they have industry tours, and our schedule is going to allow us, you get to pick one. Pittsburgh Penguins, and there's a description of what that's about. You can make a decision. So it's 2:00 on that day. PPG Industries, and that was plate glass and turbines and manufacturing. US Steel, which is US Steel is major company steelmaker. And then financial services, which is probably the one I would personally like to go to myself, although US Steel could be interesting just from a corporate perspective. After that 2 to 3:30 event, and it's usually walking distance or bus from the hotel, there's a reception, icebreaker, and a business showcase. So they do some fun stuff. They do get together. You get to meet the other participants. You get engaged. You get involved. And then student leadership roundtables. There's discussion that night for those that are on leadership. We are not only the AFC, we are officially an IMA chapter. We got chartered here in October as an accounting club, which then became the Accounting and Finance Club when the finance folks said, you guys are doing cool stuff. And then by January, we had petitioned the IMA to become a club, and they're sending us a check for $320 right now because of our membership. We get IMA members, and we get paid like $10 a head for anybody there. So then starting the next day, breakfast and networking at the Career Showcase. So that's a lot of companies hang out, and you get to talk, and it's good practice. Even if we have a job fair coming up in a week and a half. And I tell students the best time to go to a job fair is when you don't need one. Second best time is when you actually want one. Going when you don't need one actually gets you insight and gets you a comfort level, because they can get pretty crazy. And if you've never been to one and you're going for the first time, like, I need an internship or I need a job, you're going to be in a position saying, I'm a little nervous, I'm not comfortable, and it may shine or show. And by the way, if you do have questions as we go, please don't hesitate to interrupt, ask, let me know. So they start with a general session, former quarterbacks of the Steelers. So it's in Pittsburgh, appropriate, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. We succeed or fail by the level of our expectation. Thoughts and the best overcoming obstacles, working as a team, all the soft skills that are key to success that employers are looking for. I mentioned the CMA, Certified Management Accountant. The CMA exam will be discussed and what that's about, and how, as a credential, if you've got a certification, that sets you apart from those that don't. It may mean you just passed a test. It may mean but it also means you adhere to certain ethical standards. It means you might have some experience, but it shows your professionalism by having passed a test. Even if you've only passed 1 out of 2, you're still ahead of the game for somebody that hasn't passed any. Financial planning and analysis, President CFO, Advantage CFO, take charge of professional development, lunch and award recognitions. So again, you can look at this agenda. I'm kind of cruising through it. Power of LinkedIn. You got 3 people talking about it from Robert Half. Robert Half actually has some minority scholarships they're offering, and we can talk more about that if anybody wants to chat. 8 questions for ethical decision making, and these are mostly CMAs. Financial literacy, I'll tell you, and that's why I'm excited. In 2 weeks, our program includes financial literacy, but in high school and in college, financial literacy is such an underemphasized subject area, and we need a lot more of that. Okay, professional trends, what's going on in the professional communities, ESG, environmental social governance, ERM, risk management, and financial planning analysis and organizations, professionals, evolution. Career tracks, we talked about managerial accounting and finance, accounting career paths. Communicating across generations, millennials, Gen Zs, boomers, getting everybody to talk together. And then we have general session, the C-suite, CEO, CFO, CIO. C is basically chief, anybody in the C-suite. Friday night fun event, might be a bowling. Actually, they announced what it was going to be. Duck pin bowling, arcade games, hanging out, having some fun, kind of loosening up. And there's a t-shirt design competition. If anybody wants to design a t-shirt, we can talk more about that too. I get the honor of a faculty workshop the next day. ESG, what the heck is that all about? And you might, in the accounting parlance, it's 3 Ps: people, planet, profit. So it's not just profit that people are looking for. It's the environment, the people, and the planet as well. So analytics, I'll tell you, and I know Kim, she's sharp. As far as the level of where things are going with data analytics, that is a realm that there's a lot of needs and a lot of opportunities. I try to integrate Tableau, which is a data analytics tool, a data visualization tool, in all my classes, whether it's financial accounting or any of the upper level accounting courses. Forensic accounting, some options, and discussing what that's all about. And then they repeat the sessions. So that's the gist of the outline of the schedule of the agenda of what's happening the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. I'm going to take a break from that right now before I tell you the criteria for selection, but want to answer any questions you might have at this point.
I have a question.
Ask away.
Yes, I'm listening to your information. I'm saying, was this by mistake that I had gotten this email because it don't say anything about like administration, healthcare administration? I see it's mostly focused on like finances and accounting.
It is mostly accounting and finance and management. So, and it's internal operations. It's appropriate for any business major that wants to learn leadership concepts. As an example, we have a group called SHRM on campus, Society of Human Resource Managers. And Jordan, I think you said you were an HR management major, correct?
Right. Yes, sir.
Did you make it to Myrtle Beach, actually, to the?
Me and Anthony went. We both
Cool.
went.
Excellent. I mean, I'm a fan of Sherm. All right.
It was awesome.
I had another business but I tell my students, do you think you can get hired someday through an HR department? And if the answer is yes, does it pay to get to know the kind of things that HR people are looking for and looking at, even if you're not an HR major? And my short answer would be yes. Not everybody may not agree, but I think that there are advantages to understand that. And the same way the AFC is not just for accounting and finance majors, because when we do a career night, or we talk about internships, or we have presentations of panels, or we talk about blockchain and cryptocurrency, that's fairly universal. So Kayla, yes, the focus is accounting, finance, management, and they are pitching the CMA. But I will say, the same way I say accounting is a foundational core that any business person needs to know, whether you're in management, whether you're in marketing, whether you're in operations. It doesn't hurt to have a leadership conference under your belt or a leadership experience, because that, I'll tell you, I've done thousands of interviews, resume reviews, and LinkedIn reviews. I've had a number of businesses. I've been a full-time academic for 15 years, but I've had entrepreneurial before that, and sure, I started 2 businesses during COVID. So I'm active in business that way. If this scares you away, that's fine.
Leaders is that they are unfeared,
Oh, no, sir. It's
unafraid
very
of their
interesting.
word.
Somebody else
Okay, Gabriel,
speakers
we're
on.
gonna have to mute that, so, okay. But in terms of business experience, when I interview people, I don't want to know their grade in financial accounting or how they did in economics. I want something to talk about. Oh, you were in Model United Nations. What was that about? Or you traveled to Argentina. That's kind of cool. Tell me more. Or you went to a leadership conference. Why the heck would you go to a leadership conference, especially with those accounting folks or those finance folks? That's the conversation that could result and give you some more experience and exposure in networking, communicating, and that kind of thing. So
Wonderful.
so no harm, no foul. If you feel this isn't the right place, I don't feel comfortable with all those accountants, management, and finance folks. That's okay. If you are comfortable, the more the merrier. That's where we're coming from.
Oh, no, I have no problem. I just didn't know if it was very appropriate for me or geared towards my profession. I'm very interested because I am pretty much interested in becoming a leader. And I love to travel, so I'm open to anything.
Cool. I'm with you on the travel. I was in the Navy. Unfortunately, when they said join the Navy, see the world, they didn't add the tagline 2/3 water, but that's a different story. But the opportunity to travel was there, and yeah, travel and experience. The more experience you can have at any level, but especially while in college, is powerful. So
Yes, sir.
But a great question. So thank you for
Yes,
asking. Thank you.
right. And I'm interested in doing an ethical things on the side of healthcare. I want to do the ethical side of things. That's what I want to be involved in.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there's a lot of decision making going on the ethics side. I have a daughter who's an RN in Baltimore, and it's an interesting profession.
Yes.
And Octavius's wife, I guess, is an RN as well.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, it's healthcare. Healthcare, that's what's at 18% of the GDP. So yeah, healthcare has its place. But the more
Yes.
you can know, the more effective you can be. And I'll tell you, bioethics, Kayla, if you're talking ethical medicine and bioethics, that's a burgeoning field. So very cool.
Yes.
Other questions at this point in time?
Who would be going besides you?
Okay, actually, I originally wasn't going, but now it looks like I probably will be going. Let me share the criteria that went into the Peak Grant application. And we have a selection criteria, and I'll share my screen on that as well, just so you know what we're looking for. So we have selection criteria going in, open to all students currently enrolled at FMU. Okay. Again, the preference is accounting, finance, management directly. So the criteria is based on GPA, major, including other business. And even if you're not a business major, you're still eligible to go. If you're an officer in the AFC, or you participated in other AFC events, you get brownie points. If you're upperclassmen, you get bounty points. Based on the paragraph or two you submitted to why I want to go, you just said a line because it'll be fun, that's probably not going to get you 2 points. But if you give it some well thought out ideas, or maybe even looked at the link and looked at the organization and said how it might fit to your planning, good thing to go. And then if you are leadership focused and maybe you're in the student government, SGA, or maybe you're in a fraternity or sorority executive or another club. So if you're in on-campus organizations, it is a leadership conference. So it's leadership that's going to be there. I also will share there'll be some obligations. It's not just going and having fun, which that's a part of it. Nothing wrong with going and having fun, but you're going to come back and you're going to share your abilities and what you learned. And you're going to come to, there'll be a student presentation and you'll do it as a group. Say, we went to the conference, it was cool or it wasn't. Here's what we learned. Maybe you'll want to go next year. Maybe you won't. By the way, there was a budget here and some other comments and other things going on. So that is, Jordan, that was a great question on who and how and who else is going. And it may not be all business majors. It may be a variety. And maybe it'll depend, won't be all upperclassmen or underclassmen, and maybe some freshmen, maybe juniors and seniors, whatever the point score dictates.
Right.
So it is a point system. It's a merit system that we are kicking in. And it doesn't mean you have to have a 4.0, because there are a whole bunch of other criteria. It doesn't mean you have to be an AFC officer. It doesn't mean that you have to be an accounting, finance, or management major. Although those things could help, but then again, it's a point score, and so we have an objective methodology for determining. The only unobjective is my evaluation of your paragraph, because I'm going to be making that. I'll be making the point score on that. But everything else is the application was there. You submitted what organizations you're involved in. You submitted your GPA. You submitted class and graduation year, and those are the same kind of questions. Originally, they had a price going up October 1 for registration, but they extended that to next week. So we'll be deciding by Sunday. And I'm going to ask, if you're on this call right now, in the chat, you can type in yes or no, if you're interested or not, and a number on a scale of 1 to 5, level of interest. So go ahead in the chat, put yes or no, and 1 through 5. If you say no, don't need to put a number, right? But if you say yes, give me a 1 through 5 on interest. And if you would want to revise your paragraph, because when you first submitted, I mean, some people took 4.5 minutes to submit, others took 12 minutes to submit. Somebody else probably just turned it on. I can see in the Microsoft forms, somebody took 3 hours to submit. I don't think they were doing it the whole time though. So they probably turned it on, walked away, had some dinner or lunch, and came back and eventually filled out the form. But if you want to revise your paragraph, you're here and you obviously have an interest and you're committing extra time, and I want to honor that. If you want to revise your reason for participation, I will take that revised statement, by tomorrow noon, if submit something tonight or tomorrow, and unless you get a blackout and you get a power outage and can't submit it tomorrow. But if you want to revise that statement, I will replace the statement you put in with a revised statement that's going to give me some more insight as to why you really want to go. Does that make sense? Is anybody planning on taking advantage of that? Just, show of hands or?
I am.
I don't know if it's submitted, but I originally opened the form on my phone, and when I realized I had to type out the paragraph, I wanted to switch from my computer. So I don't know what's submitted or if it's submitted.
It is submitted. I did see your submission.
Oh, it wasn't supposed to. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it now and I'm trying to go back in.
Go ahead and make another one. That's
okay.
Fine. I'll take the highest grade of the two. How's that sound?
I appreciate it.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Are we penalized for taking too long to do the paragraph?
Not at all.
Oh,
No. I mean, that was just interesting to see that someone turned it on and was doing something else. And you know what? It could have been their computer got rebooted or they lost power and they had to come back or lost internet. No penalty. That was not a time test. Finish
okay.
2 minutes, doesn't give you brownie points as opposed to 10 minutes. As a matter of
Okay.
fact, I would like a well thought out application. I would
Okay.
prefer you take longer. Because if you did it in 2 minutes, you're saying, yeah, yep, okay, sounds like fun, good, done. And that's
Okay.
probably not a well thought out application, so to speak.
Okay, thank you.
I was gonna say, because yeah, I got the email. Obviously, I'm an English major, but technically, like in my portal, it says that my minor is also business, but I'm in the process. I'm an athlete, so I can't change it until like the semesters, because if not, my credits won't count towards my. So I know I didn't even put business in the application because I was like, oh, well, I'm going to change it to economics, but it didn't change yet. So I was also going to bring that up because I was like, if you go on like my portal, it'll say business,
Right.
but I'm
And
changing it to
remember-
economics, but I don't think I put either of them because I didn't want to mess it up. I was also on my
You're breaking,
practice?
you're freezing periodically. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
fine About that, about
Oh, that's
2/3.
bad.
But so athlete, economics, interested is what I kind of got.
Okay. So yeah, did you get the part where I said it's technically like in my portal, it says I'm a business minor?
Right, yes.
Okay. And then I'm gonna change it, but I have to wait.
Okay.
I'm gonna change it to economics.
Gotcha.
Okay. Because
Well-
in my application, I didn't even put business, I don't think, because I didn't wanna, I was also kind of in a bit of a rush because application was due today.
Yeah.
I think I misread that.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's due tomorrow, right? It was due the Friday night, midnight. But that's
Okay.
But
Because I was gonna say I'll probably, because I was in a rush when I did it. I was just like, I thought there was gonna be like two. Like I
Again,
there was gonna be
you know,
another one.
turn off, do stop video, turn off your camera. Because that'll reduce bandwidth requirements in Zoom. And now maybe because you're cutting off at strategic points. So come
Oh,
on
I'm
back.
sorry. It's
That-
the campus connection.
That's fine.
No
Not
offense.
your fault. I'm not blaming you. But that's one of the Zoom tricks. If you cut down the video, cut down bandwidth, and I will be able to hear you better. You probably won't cut out. So go ahead. You see what
Okay.
you're saying?
Yeah, I was just saying how I was kind of in a rush because I was leaving for practice and I thought that the application was due. So, and I thought there was going to be a second one. Like I thought this was kind of just like to show you're interested, and then there was going to be a full like like a more like a second one for like the people who put the interest in. So that was my bad. So I probably will like redo mine like all together if that's okay.
That's okay. By all means, yeah, as long as you're before the deadline, you're good to go. So we're under control. But
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate the interest.
Yes, sorry about that.
No, and we can hear you much better now. So not that we wouldn't love to see your face.
Yeah,
That the,
it's okay.
Bandwidth limitations, I understand on campus. Even some of the classrooms, half the classroom is great and the other half isn't. So
Yeah.
fair enough. Other questions? Anything else on the minds? So are you
Question.
in the chat? Are you more excited or less excited than when you originally showed interest? Go ahead, M for more, L for less, and just give a little bit of feedback if you're able. So it should be fun, should be interesting, and it's not the same. Yes. Okay,
I have a question.
ask away.
Are we able to go back into our application and look over it?
That's a great question. If anybody knows Microsoft Forms better than I do, something tells me I don't think so. Once you submit it, you release it.
I don't think you can.
Yeah, I
Oh.
don't think so either. But you know, if you feel bad and you want to submit another one, I can eliminate the one that you say, get rid of that other one.
I don't know, because I took my time on my
Yeah, you thought it through.
paragraph.
Yeah, you did. So no, yeah, I don't think you can edit, but if you want to make any changes and you submit it by noon tomorrow, we're good to go.
Okay.
Okay, let me give you a timeline because, and I'll share that screen as well. We're going to be making some decisions. Originally, we were going to confirm reservations Let's go in, share screen, advanced share, portion of screen. Originally, we were earlier in the game and the peak grant was supposed to be approved earlier. Unfortunately, it did not get officially approved. Today, I got the email. Unofficially, I found out on Monday because I talked to the chair of the peak grant person, and she said, originally she had said she can, on the down low, let me know how things turn out. And then we found out that normally they had 10 or 15 applications for a peak grant. This time they had 35 or 40 applications and they have limited funds. So normally the peak grants get funded, but this time a lot of folks didn't get funded. Now our 3 trips did get funded. So the $500 trips to rent a van to go to Columbia for those 2 days. And then the other one is to this conference. So I had to call over to the provost office because they had to release the official word. So that's why I sent out the email Monday night as soon as I found out from the provost that yes, we were approved, even though I didn't get official approval until today. I got the email today. So the original deadline to apply was a week earlier. And by now you were going to be informed being successful. We changed the timeline to the 30th. So instead of confirming registrations, our timeline is 30th is to applications received. Decisions will be made this weekend. But we are going to have next week a preparatory workshop. We're going to talk about LinkedIn, logistics, etiquette, and some planning on what to do with the conference. I mean, you got an overview now what the conference looks like. We also have to go through the registration process. If you are interested, and while you're here, and I can't guarantee everybody on this call is going to be accepted. I can't guarantee anybody is because we haven't reviewed the criteria and the point scores yet. But in the chat, if you could say, are you available to get together on Saturday? Or well, let's put it this way. When on Saturday or Sunday would be best for you? And I'll give you a couple of choices. Saturday morning at 11 a.m., Sunday morning, 11 a.m. And then you can put earlier or later if those are preferred times. Because to register, the price goes up next week. It was supposed to go up on the 1st. They changed that. I found it yesterday. They changed that. But they also have some minority scholarships that will waive our registration fees. But there's a limit. There's only 40 available from Robert Half. But if we save the registration fees, we might be able to get another student to go as well. So I don't mean to push. Okay, I do mean to push. But if we can get that through, and if we can save a couple of registration fees, that would be to our advantage as well. By the way, the attend the conference October 19th, and most likely November 10th will be the next AFC meeting, the happy hour dinners that we do. So those are the kind of programs that are involved. And it'd be the Wyndham Grand in Pittsburgh where we're staying. And it won't be co-ed in the same room, so parents don't have to worry. But we are going, but we're on track. And they interesting. I've never seen a hotel do this, but they're charging per person, whether you're in a 2 in a room or 4 in a room or 3 in a room. But then whatever the hotel has can do, we'll figure it out and get the reservations. The other question I'm going to ask of you is,
I'm sorry, can I ask?
Oh, please go ahead.
Real quick. I'm sorry. You were going through a lot of information right there. Are you going to go through those dates and things again towards the end, or because I couldn't write down
Okay,
the notes?
I'll tell you. I'll go through it right now, just so you can make the notes clear. We'll be taking applications officially through tomorrow night, midnight. We'll be deciding, the goal is to decide by Sunday or Monday. And then, but we may make the decision by Saturday. I'm going to see this weekend, and if I can, I'm hoping to do the point scores on Saturday. Then next week, and it's probably going to be a 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock meeting, we're going to get together again because you will individually register. And they do ask for payment. I have a discount code if you're a potential scholarship recipient. But the sooner we make decisions, and if you get accepted this weekend, and I'll send out the acceptances as the scores come through. So hopefully by Sunday we'll have decisions. That's the goal. That's the dream. Because, and with that, I'd still like to get together Saturday or Sunday morning. If a lot of people say Saturday morning, no, but Sunday morning, yes, I'll make sure to be done by Sunday. If you say Saturday morning, yes, I may even try to do it. I was up at 4 this morning, so I keep strange hours. So I'll try to get them scored and get decisions made and word out and make sure the invitation. But I do have one. So Anthony, does that answer your question as far as timeline?
Yes, sir.
I do have one other time comment. In order to get to the conference on Thursday in time to go to the Penguins or US Steel or the financial group, we have to leave probably here at 4:30 in the morning to get over to Myrtle Beach Airport, to get us over on a plane, to get us into Pittsburgh, to get us going. That's one option. The other option is traveling the day before in the afternoon, which means I'm traveling on Wednesday, staying in the hotel Wednesday night. And by the way, that's in the budget. I budgeted for an extra hotel night. So I'm an accountant, budgets, that's second nature. It better be right. But if you could put in the comments, if you would prefer to leave Wednesday, that'd be Wednesday afternoon, WD, or Thursday early AM, THU. So please put in the comment to Wednesday, WD or THU, or you can say either. Or you can say neither, and that be self-explanatory. I was actually talking about some folks about driving. It's like a 9.5 hour drive. And I've done that from Wisconsin to DC for some conferences that I've done with students. I was also a chaperone for a mission trip. I went to Kentucky from Wisconsin and we did the drive. So I have no qualms about renting a van and driving for 9 hours either, 9.5 hours. But I think flying might be more fun. So hopefully you put in the preference. And then I'll ask one last question. Fly or drive? The preference could be to drive, and then we would be able to leave directly from here and drive up, and you can sleep on a van. And again, we might be able to fit one more person to attend the conference, and it'll be, the more the merrier, or fly. So go ahead, fly or drive or either would be appreciated for feedback. And so I do appreciate your input and the opportunity to share that opportunity with you, which is a natural lead-in to the next question, is the officer roles in the club. We had 4 officers. One who was an honor student, actually had some personal things and actually left school this semester. So she was an officer, no longer, the office is vacated. We do have our CFO. We do have our CLO, Chief Legal Officer, which is great if you're pre-law. Nothing like a chief legal officer on your resume or on your LinkedIn profile if you're going to apply to law school. We have a CEO. So CEO, CFO, and parliamentarian. And I'm going to share the jobs and the roles that are available in the AFC and through our Constitution, and just share who we are and what we are. So if I go look, and if you don't want to be an officer role or more involved and just want to attend, that's fine too. Or if you don't even want to attend, that's okay too. But if you're looking at our Constitution of who we are, FMU AFC, and I'll just scope this in a little bit, make it a little bit larger print, easier to read. Purpose, students interested in accounting, finance, business, or related fields, information regarding career development, professional certifications, professional affiliations, and general information. Environment, encouraging networking, personal and professional relationships. We do a lot of stuff with community. And as a board member, we do ask that you do outreach to invite people, the kind of folks that you want them to be here to talk to your fellow students, or what I call your future fellow alumni. Fostering community outreach. We have an alumni night in the spring. We also have alumni panels coming, and community panels for a variety of topics. One meeting, we also had students on one of our careers. We were talking about interviewing and resumes. We had the president of SHRM, our student chapter. We had faculty member who teaches an internship class. We had a LinkedIn a LinkedIn fan talking about LinkedIn. We had Sunoco come in as an employer from an employment perspective for internships. And between all those 4 presentations, it was pretty good insights. Global awareness, greater community, and opportunities for leadership, learning, and fun. We do FM Aglow. We've been participating. Last year, we were champions in the President's Bowl. We actually had 2 teams entered. In the first round, those 2 teams were matched and went head to head. So the good news is one of them was going to win. The bad news is one was going to lose. And the team that won ended up taking the championship and $2,000. And students each got $100. The balance was donated to our Success Closet or used. We had a Sunday social, which is a make your own Sunday. We got together and kind of hung out and chatted about stuff. Assistant members in transition from academia into the workplace and are wanting to pursue other academic opportunities. So the opportunities, you got the president or CEO. We have a VP of operations, also known as Chief Operation Officer. We have a VP of finance, which is taken, CFO. We have a VP of membership, more marketing oriented and recruiting and encouraging folks to participate and involved in the brochures, the flyers, the advertising of events. We have a secretary or chief communications officer. We have a parliamentarian or chief legal officer. And then we have past presidents and advisors. And so once you're president, you'll always be a past president and always welcome and participating as a part of the board. So the board we seek, the positions we have that are open include a chief operations officer, which is kind of the right arm for the CEO. We have a marketing as a chief marketing officer, and then a secretary or chief communications officer. And they take notes from these kind of meetings, but they also enhance the communications and distribute stuff. So those are the positions and the officers of potential interest. And by the way, you do get brownie points if you become an officer in the organization towards attendance to conferences, activities. And you saw, if you're an officer, that's 2 points added to your score if you're interested. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm not saying you can't come on the leadership conference if you don't become an officer or you're not participating in activities. I will say that it adds, it enhances. It's like what I was saying, if you got a CPA or CMA, you apply for something, gives you a cut above, it gives you an extra level of potential success. The same way, this would add to your point score in our evaluation when we're trying to determine the folks that can go. And like I said, we had 19 folks inquire so far as of yesterday, as of last night, I guess. There were a couple more that came in today. I didn't do the count. So there's a bunch of interest. And you being here is to your credit, by the way. So you're showing one higher level of interest and you're having some more opportunities to revise your paragraph or two and to provide some more input. And the other opportunity you have is to participate as a potential board member if you are desirous. Maya, you had a question?
Oh, okay. I have 2 actually. Real quick, for the application, for the GPA part, are we doing as of spring semester? That would be the most updated last year?
Yeah.
Okay. And
You're
then
not-
for
Go ahead.
okay, for AFC, I think I asked this, but like, do you have to be a member do you have to have like a certain grade in accounting or have a certain advanced understanding of accounting? Or
you can be a high school student without
okay,
any accounting knowledge and come to AFC meetings.
okay,
So, and we've had high school students come. That's why I mentioned that. Because it's an open door. We have alums come, we have students come, and we have and some of the students that came, they heard about it because they're dual enrollment. So they're a senior in high school and they're taking college classes with us too. And we don't offer accounting in the dual enrollment, but they may be taking Business 150 or other types of classes. So the short answer is you don't need any qualifications. This is not an honor society. This is not a differentiator saying you don't even have to have taken accounting. So I do, one of the other accounting applicants doesn't have a GPA. She actually put her GPA from high school because she's a freshman first semester. And she applied to come as an accounting major, which is cool. That's a great initiative. But you don't have to have any level to participate. And to be a board member, you don't have to be a finance, accounting, or management major either. Because we've had graphics arts majors. We've had other business school majors across the board that have participated in board roles. And we're 3 years young, so we have room to grow, but you know, we talk about diversity. It's not just racial and ethnic diversity, it's skill diversity, it's majors and interest diversity. It's a diversity which the pluralism allows for great ideas and inputs from other sources. Some people are more graphic and they want to do brochures. Cool. Some people are more operational and they are more on task for organizing. Excellent. Some want to get whatever it is, you can participate. And what's nice about our officers, we've got dual titles. You can put, if you're a marketing major and you put CMO, that's well recognized by marketing executives and marketing folks that are hiring marketing. And you say, I was a CMO. Really? Or I was, you talk about chief legal officer if you go into law school, or chief operations officer, COO, or CFO. You think that's good for accountants? You think any accounting would recognize a CFO title somewhere? You bet. So that's what the opportunity is. Other questions? I'm going to ask for one more submission in the chat. And given what you see as potential officer opportunities, and as I said, the CMO is available, the Chief Communications Officer is available, and the Chief Operations Officer is available. Sorry about that. Do that. Control V. Pull that off because I saw it available.
I have a question.
Ask away.
Could you go over the chief communications officer one more time?
Sure. If you are thinking of a traditional role in a nonprofit or a board or an organization, the secretary is the closest equivalent to a chief communications officer. But secretary is kind of, you know, it's an all-encompassing term. CCO is even more encompassing. It's taking notes from the board meetings. We do meet weekly about this time for planning purposes. So next week when we meet, we'll be making final preparations for the dinner and the logistics on how we're going to handle our meeting following in 2 weeks from tonight. So basically note taking, taking minutes, organizing, assisting as part of the executive team in making decisions of selecting activities, of being involved in. We participated, not only were we victorious in the President's Bowl last year, but we're also in the race, the whatever that spring race was going on. We made a cardboard boat that, yes, promptly sank, but it made progress. So we had some fun doing things as well, and we participated in FM Aglow. We try to be good corporate citizens and good organizational citizen at FMU, and try to get more involved in other activities that are going on at the institution. Activities fair, we did First Friday. We had a number of students supporting us at First Friday, helping out as well. So anytime there's an event like the activity fair, First Friday, we try to engage and get involved. So those are things. And then we promote with our students. Because the Success Closet was a success, we actually have one of those big closets that, you know, those moving boxes that you can hang things in. So they're literally, you know, cardboard closets that are for moving. We have one that's already decorated, and we'll use that to collect clothes again, because I think that was a well received. The Student Government Association came, accepted the check. Actually, it wasn't a check. We actually gave them cash. That handed out $100 bills, gave them cash towards the Success Closet. So it's a sign of giving back. So long answer, short question. Did that cover what you were asking?
Yes, sir.
So at this point, I will ask if you have an interest, and I would encourage the interest. If you don't have an interest, that's okay. Please don't feel obligated. Only want to engage those that have sincere interest in trying to make a difference. Not to mention that it doesn't hurt to have a resume stuffer or a LinkedIn stuffer. That gives you a conversation piece when you're interviewing, because I will tell you, that's what interview is looking for. So what did you do with these guys? They want to demonstrate engagement, leadership, initiative. So those are tools and things that they want to see. So I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to open the floor. And please, if you are considering a role, go ahead and list the role of interest that you have. If you're not interested, you can say not at this time, or more, you can just say no. That's okay. It's not a reflection, won't reflect on your application for the leadership conference, but it will just be, we're opening the floor if anybody wants to get more involved.
Question.
Ask away.
CMO job. Can you kind of go into detail on what their job duties are?
Okay. A CMO is a chief marketing officer. What that means is it's membership. So it's encouraging when we have activities, we're going to be posting flyers, we're going to be sending mass emails like, you got to come to this, personalized with a first name. It was a mail merge, I will confess. But being able to participate as an officer does mean coming in and being a team member or the executive board. So chief marketing officer is marketing, social media. We did have a Facebook page and Instagram, but I'm not sure what the status of that is now. But that's also where we can post things. And if you're into social media, that's a great way to communicate and to have exposure for what we do, to get the word out to the newspaper on campus, to get the word out and to kind of liaison with some of the activities that are through the activities offices that student affairs. So it's communication. It's kind of a broader base of being able to interact with other folks on campus and gives you some visibility too. And hopefully will be fun. So get you entertaining, get you engaged,
Okay.
involved.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm looking right now, Octavius. It looks like we have a couple of folks that are interested. I know, Kayla, are you interested as well? Because we had, I think Anthony mentioned CMO. And we have Jordan as a CCO. We have LaKayla as CMO. So looks like we got 2 in the role. And I actually might propose something interesting. Cameron, you say you might be interested, but tennis competes. By the way, I played tennis. That was my sport of choice way back when.
Yes, I was
And-
listening.
And you have practices every night, or?
Yeah, so right now is our off season. So right now we lift 3 days a week, but that's at 6:45 a.m. So that won't conflict. But we practice every day for about like 1.5 to 2 hours, Monday through Friday. And then if we have any tournaments, which there's none scheduled for the fall right now,
Yeah.
but those would be on the weekend. But that's why, like, even for this meeting, our practice got canceled. So there was a chance I wouldn't have been here, but I still think I would have probably been able to make it because our practice was a little bit earlier. So it kind of just varies though.
I'm gonna stop the recording right now, by the way. Well, and then we'll use the chat for any other communications.